Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 5 of ESR and RWB Super GT Saturday series. We're here in the south of France at Paul Ricard, and I'm joined by Josh today.
Alright, everyone.
And yeah, we're currently 15 minutes into qualifying, so there's 15 minutes left. It's a 40-degree track, so the drivers are going to have some nice tyre temperatures to deal with for the rest of qualifying in the race. Yeah, and that's about it. So we'll give you a little rundown of how qualifying's gone so far for the 28 drivers that are out on the grid at the moment. So if we pull up the timetable, we can see we've got Mark Elgaard currently on pole position with a 155.1. Then RWB Carzolia in P2 with a 155.3, and Olivier Curtin in P3 with a 155.4. Then going down, we've got Dan Sedgley, Sam Snelltrain, Mohamed Karolia, Leo Wooks, Matt Higgs, Michael Abrunosa, Dave Crew, James Lacey, I think, actually. Oh no, James Lacey is the last of the GT3s. Then the first GT4, so on pole position in GT4s, we've got Ignacy Bucek with a 204.9. Then in P2, we've got Christoph Verstappen with a 205.4, so quite a big gap there between the top two and the GT4s. Then in P3, we've got Philip Varley with a 206.0. Then we've got Adam Sharp, RWB Helmet, A Goat Friend, Claudio Allegria, RWB Pinpoint, RWB Rigel, Dan Anderson, Greedy, Larry Foster, Zvonimir Burek, Ian Simcox, Daniel Barnett, and then Mad Al, bringing up the rear of the GT4s. So
yeah, on grid.
Yeah, just looking. We've got 12 GT3s, and what does that make it? 16 GT4s. So it's a funny split of GT3s, GT4s. Not what we usually see. It's kind of the opposite of what we usually see, but it should make for an interesting race for all those GT3s.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, we say every week they always complain about GT4 traffic. Well, they're going to have an overload today. But yeah, it'll be good fun for us to watch. And yeah, hopefully it's more clean overtakes and nothing too dodgy going out on track.
Okay, so I think now is the time when Josh gives you his little rundown of the track. So we'll jump in the cockpit with someone who is going to go around the final corner soon, not Elgaard. I think, let's take a guess, let's go with Karolia. Oh no, he's about halfway around. James Lacey, no. This is not good luck from me. Here we go. First sector.
Very much not the final.
Here we go, this will do. We're on board with Matt Higgs.
So yeah, let's do this as Matt Higgs comes down onto the main straight. Currently held up by Greedy in that really nice sounding Chevy. Really like the look and sound of it. So he heads down now past the start line as he heads down to the S turn. Yeah, the names aren't great, but it's what we're given by the French. But here we go, the S turn, quick left to right after a heavy braking zone. All the way down now, you have to be careful because those markers on the left, sticky uppy bits. If you hit them, that gives you track limits. As he heads down now to Hotel Turn or Virage de l'Hôtel. It's a tricky right-hander with a very quick left. Brakes down into first gear for Camp Turn or Virage de Caen, which is a very quick right as it goes to the nice large sweeping right-hander or Virage de la Saint-Bon as he heads onto the Mistral straight. I'm slipping up as much as Matt is currently right now, but as he heads down now onto the Mistral straight, trying to take advantage of all of the slipstream he can of the GT4s and any GT3s ahead of him. Interesting fact, there's usually a chicane along here, which slows the cars down, as there was an incident in 1986 when Elliot DeAngeli was killed at the end of this straight as he heads down now to curve off signs. Like I said, don't blame me for the corner names. Very quick right-hander, again making sure not to run too wide on track limits as he heads down to double right. Very long right-hander. It's quite confusing where the apex is, but now there you can see it as he dips a wheel into it. As he heads down onto Bendor, which is a long left-hander, quite off-putting as well as the apex is quite late along here. As he heads down now onto Garlaban. Long right-hander, which then comes up to another left-hand turn, braking now in the straight line, make sure not to run wide again, or run too far on the left as he heads down now to the final curve of Virage du Pont. Right now, slamming his throttle down, going all the way straight, trying to get as much time as he can, all the way across the line.
Nice one.
Yeah.
And what was that?
Yeah,
that was a
commentaries. 156.9.
156.9. So he was 9/10 off his best lap there. So not the best from Matt Higgs, but you know, that's now on YouTube forever. So unlucky. So yeah, I was just watching your explanation of the lap, and just that final sector is so confusing. Where are all the apexes?
It's a mess. The apex is everywhere. They're not where you want them to be, and of course you've got the awkward braking zones as well. Because you're pretty much braking at the end of the corner before it, so it's just confusing as hell to do. But yeah, there's a reason a lot of drivers complain about poor regard, and there's a reason for it.
I'm not sure what's happening with Gareth Rowlands right now. This is what the autocam's picked, but you know, we'll put it on something a bit more interesting. Seems a weird place to be going that slowly, but yeah, so it's definitely one of these I was going to say it's probably a Marmite track, but I don't think I've ever met someone that likes this track.
Yeah, it's I know a lot of people in RWB, especially after that 6 hours of poor Ricard, who hate the absolute living guts out of it.
Dear. Oh, Dave Crew in the wall.
I feel bad for Dave Crew. He was I raced against him recently, and he was so much fun to race against on Monday. Managed to hold him off at Kyle Army for about 28 minutes, and then I binned it last lap.
Oh, the classic Josh tactic. Yeah, amazing at defence, and then the bottle at the end.
Bottle at the end, as usual. But yeah, these guys are great fun to race against. Definitely, if you're watching and you enjoy a good race, definitely join up in RWB. Yeah, these guys are great fun and a good laugh.
I think one of the funny comments I've seen about Paul Ricard so far was someone was saying they didn't have any motivation to get on and practice, and then another member was trying to persuade them to come on and do some practice with them. And then their excuse was, I tried to do some practice earlier, got lost on the track because I didn't know where it went, couldn't find my way back onto the track, then got car sick because of all the blue lines.
That's too true.
I think that's the perfect explanation of this track.
Gee, yeah, I'm a fan of Marmite, but I'm not a fan of this track.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Yeah, it's kind of apt seeing how this track was built as kind of a fuck you to the French government. Because the guy who built it was a businessman called Paul Ricard, hence why it's called Paul Ricard. Yeah, he created it to show that private businesses could actually build roads better and faster than the French government, and yeah, it only took him 10 months to build this.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah, it's a bit mental. It kind of proves his point, but yeah. It's a bit mental.
So, looking at the qualifying, we've now got Dan Sedgley in pole position with a 155.116, 100th ahead of Mark Elgaard in P2. Then P3 is Olivier Curtin, only 600ths behind, or 700ths behind P1. So those top three all within 700ths of each other, which is pretty mad. Then P4, RWB Carzolia, P5, Michael Abrunosa, P6, Sam Snelltrain, P7, Mohamed Karolia, P8, Leo Wooks, P9, Matt Higgs, and P10, Mikolaj Maranowski. And in the GT4s, we have got in pole position is Ignacy Buchek. In the McLaren, currently in the pits. He's decided that he's far enough ahead to not do another lap. P2 is Christoph Verstappen, and he is about half a second behind, so I would be on board with Buchek there. I think he's probably got enough of a lead that he's pretty safe on pole position. Then P3, Adam Sharp with a 2:05.9. Again, 4 tenths behind, so it's the complete opposite of the GT3s. The GT4s are, there's what, a whole second in between their top 3 compared to 700ths of the top 3 of GT3s. And P4, Philip Varley, P5, RWB Helmet, P6, A Goat Friend, P7, RWB Rigel, P8, Claudio Allegria, P9, RWB Pinpoint, and P10, Dan H. Anderson. So yeah,
not bad.
We'll watch to see if there's any changes at the front of that GT3 pack in the last 3 minutes of quality with lap times that close, but I think that'll likely be all of their complete push fastest laps, considering they're all that close. Oh, as I say that, Olivier Curtin puts in a 55.0 and puts himself into pole position 1/10 ahead of Dan Sedgley.
He's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. That's a fast lap. So yeah, Porsche, I was going to say Porsche domination, but looks just like everyone's turned up in the Porsche today.
All about that inline 6, you know?
Yeah, 5 cars aren't Porsches out of the 13 GT3s. So yeah, that's pretty odd. Think, what is it, the first round of this season where they just bopped the Porsche, and we were talking about how unpopular we thought it was going to be, and how everyone that signed up in the league was going to be so annoyed that they'd signed up in the Porsche. And now looks like only the Porsches have turned up today.
Yeah, I'll eat my shoes with that. Like,
I mean, fair play. And still, Mark Elgard in P3 in the Honda, like, of all cars.
how did he get into Tier 2? I'll never know.
Yeah, who knows? Well, at least he's got his way now with Tier 1, and he's clearly proving himself. He's consistently been in the top 3 for the previous 4 rounds, so yeah, he's definitely worthy of being in top split. So with 1 minute of qualifying left, the top 3 of GT3s is Olivier Curtin, Dan Sedgley, and Mark Elgard. And the top 3 of GT4s doesn't look like it's changed. Ignacy Buchek, Christoph Verstappen, and Adam Sharp. So, yeah, I think they'll all be either done now or trying to squeeze in that last lap, time it perfectly, make it onto the line just before the end. Get one last lap in, one last shot at getting a good or a better starting position. So before we started the stream, Josh and I were talking about how qualifying had been extended from 20 to 30 minutes to reduce traffic congestion, I think is the correct phrase for it, between the GT3s and GT4s. But then I was explaining to Josh, like, because he hadn't realised that it was going to be 30 minutes, and I said, oh, it's 30 minutes quali. And then I said that's to reduce traffic, and it was just as quali had started. And then Josh was like, hang on, they're all just going out at the same time. Yeah. So even if there are any complaints of traffic in quali, we saw, who was it on your little rundown lap, Josh? Matt Higgs getting held up by Greedy in the Camaro on the start of his lap. Yeah, even if people are complaining, they've had 10 extra minutes and they still all decide they want to leave at the pit lane at the same time.
Yeah, it's that mentality of, oh, someone else will wait.
Yeah.
But if everyone's thinking that, no one's going to wait.
Or, I've done no practice, I need all the time I can get on track.
That's my personal favourite.
Yeah. Yeah, one other thing about Paul Ricard is track limits. I think we usually talk about track limits every week, but I reckon Paul Ricard's got to be one of the worst.
Paul Ricard's the worst for it.
First corner, you go over the inside curb, and it's just... Oh, car's earlier flashing his lights there. Bit of rule breaking there.
Ooh,
not upholding the RWB standards there.
Oh, we're not judged through your execution, Alex. We're just bystanders in there.
Yeah, no comment, no comment.
No comment.
That is forever also on YouTube, as with the laps of all the qualifiers today.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Curtin sliding and drifting. Bad Cos earlier doing his thing.
So that is the end of qualifying. And we have got Olivier Curtin, Dan Sledgley, Mark Elgaard bringing up the front of the GT3s, and Ignacy Buchek, Christoph Verstappen, and Adam Sharp bringing up the front of the GT4s. So the same as it was a few minutes ago, so clearly no one in those top spots managed to get any faster. So yeah, looking like it's going to be a good race with a lot of traffic, and hopefully no more light flashing.
Well, I didn't see anything, you know.
Yeah, so back to the track limits. My personal favourite is the first corner, the S-turn, turning in, going just onto the curb, thinking you're completely fine, and then you get a warning for what seems like absolutely nothing. And it's probably one of the most annoying things in this game, is getting warnings for what feels like absolutely nothing.
Oh, I don't know. I feel for me it's either camp turn, where it's at the very end of sector 1, just before you go on the Mistral. You just run slightly too wide.
Yeah, that is true.
Or curve of signs at the end of the Mistral straight, because I always run wide there. I always think I can go through it in like 6th gear.
Yeah.
And it's very much not a 6th gear corner.
No. It's fast, but not that fast. Not quite flat out in a GT3. Maybe in an F1 car, Josh.
Yeah, I've been playing a wrong game.
So, 2 minutes and 20 seconds until the start of this race. And, yeah, I'm assuming the first corner at Paul Ricard's not too bad. It's nothing like Nürburgring, where it's a full-on hairpin, like the tightest hairpin you could possibly have as the first corner. It's the S-turn's fairly open, but as I said, pretty easy to get track limits, so that would be unfortunate if you're trying to go side by side off the start and you're like, oh, I'll give them as much space as possible, and then you get hit with a track limits warning on the first lap.
It's strange because like if you do Monza, it's always a crash turn 1, but if you do Paul Ricard, it's not. Even though they're pretty much the same corner, but just flipped. Yeah,
true. I feel like Monza's tighter, and there's no sausage curbs at Paul Ricard. So at Monza, I find you have to turn in at the perfect point. Otherwise, you hit the sausage curb if you turn in too early, or you hit someone else if you turn in too late. At least with Paul Ricard, if you turn in too early, the worst that happens is you get a track limits warning.
Yeah, even then, I don't think I've ever managed to get a track limits warning on lap 1.
On lap 1, I have.
Really?
Many times, yeah. I think I had a race on Monday, and it was a 1 hour race, and it was at Nürburgring. And within 15 minutes, I'd got 3 warnings. So I then had to go the last 45 minutes without getting a single warning, which I somehow managed to do. I managed to come 4th. Actually, I think I came 5th. I think it was 4th or before that, but yeah, it was alright. But yeah, that was some tense moments, because there's the that right-hander on Nürburgring where everyone runs wide in real life, but in the game, it's just like, nope, you're not having it.
Yeah.
So let's focus the camera on Curtin in pole position so we can see any action going on at the front. Hopefully for the drivers, hopefully there isn't for us. Hopefully there is. They're just
definitely
rolling off to start their short formation. Where are they? Just about to come round the final corner here. The Virage du Pont. Onto the back straight, or onto the main straight. So they're all
well,
sitting at 43 kilometers an hour, I think it is.
miles an hour.
Miles an hour. Thank you for that.
70 kph for us
there you go.
proper people.
It's just gone green. Looks like everyone seems to have got a decent start. Olivier Curtin's managed to hold the front, and Dan Sedgley is tucked in behind. And then you can see Elgaard in that yellowy, kind of off-yellow Honda in third place. Carzolia's held P4. Abrunosa, I think he was P5. And then...
It's Marinowski in the pits as well.
Oh, already? Oh, I guess he forgot to press drive or something. That's unfortunate.
That's a shame.
And then in GT4s, Buchek is still in first, but Helmet has managed to get himself up into P3 and swap places. In fact, Helmet's managed to go from P4 to P2 just off the start, and Verstappen's in P3 and Philip Varley in P4. So that's an amazing start from Helmet there. So Elgaard looks like he's just gone round the outside on the straight with all that Honda power, and he's up into P2 ahead of Dan Sedgley, who's now in P3, and Carzolia sitting in P4, Matt Higgs P5. So Josh, that was a pretty clean start, wasn't it?
I mean, relatively, we saw Bonnet is now all the way down in the mix with the GT4s, so I assume he may have spun off, and we also saw Snell Train and Marinowski drop all the way down the order with Marinowski in the pits. So it's not gone well for some people, but brilliant start for Helmet. Curtin, I mean, the GT3 seem quite clean right now, which is quite weird.
I'll just wait until they start lapping GT4s. So the gap after the first lap is 0.4 between the top two. So they've managed to keep it pretty tight, and then 1.2 seconds down to P3. So already in a lap, P3 has started to drop off. So I wonder if that's going to be a trend of this race, as seems to quite often happen with one or two drivers kind of breaking away from everyone, just having clearly the most practiced drivers at each track.
Yeah, I'd like to see what Elgaard's training regime is. He seems to always be up at the front.
The thing is, from reading his chats, he seems to make out like he hasn't done a lot of practice. Or
if someone's doing that, they've always done practice.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like there's quite often him asking for a setup from someone. And I'm just thinking, surely you've got a bank of setups. You seem to be fast at every track. You must have a setup by now for every track.
Yeah, it's not like our friend Crawford who goes off and finds a WJL setup and then just leaves it as that.
Shout out to WJL for providing the greatest setups on YouTube. Oh no, we just had a chat in the YouTube chat from Mephisto, and he says, "Gotta love getting taken out at turn 1." So I'm not sure.
I did think there was contact with those three GT3s being.
I'm not sure who that is in game.
Snell Train down in P20 overall.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm assuming since they're typing in the chat, they've retired.
I think that's Marinowski retired, which is a shame.
Unfortunate, yeah.
But there's not much you can do with that.
So, yeah, at the moment, the GT4s, looking at the timings, the GT4s and the GT3s are fairly just training it up at the moment. Just sitting in, getting the laps in for the first few laps before they start going for anything risky. But Vucek is in P1 with Christopher Streppen now made his way past Helmet back into P2. He's just 4/10 behind. Then Helmet in P3 and Philip Varley in P4. And at the front in the GT3s, Elgaard's managed to make his way past Olivier Curtin. I thought I saw that. I thought that would be coming, because you could see him catching quick and being all over the back of him. But yeah, and now they've already pulled a 2-second gap to Dan Sedgley in third. And then you can see Dan Sedgley, Carzolia and Matt Higgs in a little bit of a train there. It looks like Carzolia is going to try and go around the inside, down the inside of the fast right-hander. That's not a nice place to go side by side. They definitely would have lost a lot of time from that, because you can't make use of, well, you only get half the track. So yeah, those two are going to be losing a lot of time by going through this final sector. Definitely it's tight and twisty enough with just using the whole track, let alone only getting half of it. And you can see Matt Higgs in his bright green Porsche is trying to make the most of it, just trying to dip his nose in between the two of them. But they're still going side by side. It looks like Carzolia's just dropped back behind Dan Sedgley, so he's managed to hold it. But that would have been a bit tense. And then, who was that? I think that was Carolia. Absolutely sent it into the last corner. Yeah, and looks like he managed to get himself past Carzolia. Confusing names. Yeah. Actually, no, who did he get himself past? He got himself past Matt Higgs in the bright green. And then, oh no, the teammates! Carolia and Carzolia on the Simsock team have taken each other out. Oh no, what's gone on here? And it looks like Carolia just tried to move forwards and bumped into someone else. That's really unfortunate. Should have been looking for reverse and not first gear. Yeah, definitely. So now we'll find out where they've dropped down to in a second, but that's unfortunate. The two Simsock teammates, sponsors of RWB, they've managed to drop themselves from P4 and 5, P4 and 5, all the way down to P9 and 10. And I'm not sure who got taken out on that re-entry from Carolia, but unfortunate for them. I don't know whether they got completely taken out or whether they managed to hold it. But yeah, going back to the front of the GT3s, Olivier Curtin is still all over the back of Elgaard. I'm surprised by that. I thought Elgaard would be pulling away by the pace of, well, firstly by how quickly he overtook him, and by just like the sheer menacingness of how fastly he was, I can't speak English at the moment, how fast he was coming up behind Olivier Curtin on the first lap. But Curtin's doing a great job of putting all the pressure on Elgaard, just right up the back of him into all the braking zones.
Yeah, I wonder if Curtin had a slip-up on a corner which let Elgaard past. Because by his pace, it should have been a near impossible task for Elgaard to get past Curtin.
Yeah, maybe. But you never know. One little slide onto the back straight. But Curtin's moved to the inside. Looks like he's going to try and go into the inside for S-turn. No, he pulls out of it. It looks like Elgaard went quite defensive there, turning in pretty early. But that's not the greatest place to go for an inside move, because you end up putting yourself on the outside for the next corner. And again, track limits at that first couple of corners. But he's definitely pressuring Elgaard. You can definitely see him in his mirrors. Bolton Lad and Scouser in the chat says some love for the Honda in P1 there. Definitely. Surprising to see it doing so well. Elgaard just absolutely finesses driving it somehow. So yeah, down in P3, it's now 5 seconds behind the front two of Elgaard and Curtin. Dan Sedgley, followed up by Matt Higgs after he gained a couple of positions from that little teammate takeout that happened earlier. And then P5, we've got Michael Abrinoza, and then James Lacey in P6, Dave Crew in P7, Leo Wicks right on the back of Dave Crew there, in P8, then down to Carzolia and Carolia, who seem to have opened up a little bit of a gap between them. I'm assuming both of them must have a little bit of damage at least, so that's not going to be helping them. Then we've got
one who effectively got T-boned. It's
yeah,
definitely going to have a ton of damage.
Yeah. We've got Daniel Barnett and Sam Snelltrain. Then in the GT4s, we've still got Ignacy Bucek in first, and he's managed to pull out a 1.4 second gap to P2 there of Christoph Verstappen, both in the McLarens. And then they've got a fairly sizable gap. The two of them is then 2.4 seconds back to Philip Varley in the Audi, who's closely followed by Helmut. Helmut had an absolute cracker of a first lap, getting up 4 positions or something, and now it seems that he's dropped, but he's definitely trying to go up the inside, and it looks like he might get it done, but he's going to be on the outside for the next corner. But we'll see. He's dropped back a few positions, and now you can tell he's fighting to get them back. And there's Adam Sharp in the Aston behind, who's watching very closely for those mistakes. And there you go. I think Helmut's managed to get the move done on Phil Varley. So that was really nice. Strung that together through multiple corners. It was on the inside for some, the outside for others, but ultimately managed to get past with the V8 motor. Oh, and now Phil Varley decides that he didn't like that, and now he's going to try and go up the inside into turn 1, the S turn. But no. Helmut's like, nope, you're not having it. I'm turning straight across you. Gonna just completely block.
Came out for him.
I from my angle. Oh no! And look at that. Helmut with the drive-through already. I said that track limits were brutal on that first corner, and Helmut's just got one. And to add insult to injury, he's made one mistake and lost 2 positions. So Varley and Adam Sharp. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why you would, though. Yeah, you've got a drive-through, but hold them up as much as possible and you lose less time to them. So after that, we've now got Bucek P1, Christoph Verstappen P2, Phil Varley P3, Adam Sharp P4, Helmut P5, Claudio Allegria P6, A Goat from P7, Dan H. Anderson P8, Pinpoint P9. It's looking pretty spaced out at the back here. They're all about 1-2 seconds apart, and then yeah, pretty much that's how the GT4s are running at the moment, about 1-2 seconds behind. Let's jump to the front of the GT3s and see how Olivier Curtin is managing to hold up against Elgaard.
He's still there. He's still holding on.
I'm just looking at the leaderboard, and it's like Elgaard's managed to pull a 9/10 gap, but he's probably lost a couple of tenths there from that little slide. But yeah, Elgaard's starting his charge now. I think he's decided to turn up the engine mode and just storm away. I wonder whether that gap will increase or decrease. So you can see it went down from that little slide, but we'll keep an eye on that over the coming laps, see what their pace is like. You can see Elgaard was about a tenth quicker on the last lap than Curtin. Elgaard with the 57.1, Curtin with the 57.2. They must have been battling on the last lap, because you look down to Dan Sedgley and Matt Higgs. They're both in the low 56s. Michael Abranoza in the 56.2, a second quicker than Olivier Curtin last lap. So they must have been battling it out for the last lap and slowing each other down. But now Elgaard's managed to pull out that little gap. So I wonder, how will that fare later on? Looking down at Helmut, I don't think he's served his drive-through yet. So he's still holding P5. But unfortunately, I would probably predict that he's going to come out last. Do you agree with that, Josh?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, track limits are what they are. Yeah.
You never know. We're only 15 minutes in, so there's 100% time for a lot more people to get drive-throughs today.
Definitely. I mean, this track is brutal for it. I was talking about Spa last time I was on being brutal. That's nothing compared to this track. I think this is fair to say it's the worst track for track limits.
I would agree. So you can see back with Helmet and Adam Sharp. Helmet's again trying to go through that final sector. You could see him just trying to get in side by side with Adam Sharp, but not quite getting it alongside this time. But I guess he's just trying to go for the same series of moves again, side by side through the final sector, and he'll come out on top. But he didn't quite get it done that lap, so... and it looks like...
off for a drive-through.
Yeah, it looks like he's just pulled into the pits for his drive-through, so... we'll have a look and see where he comes out later on. In the mid-pack of the GT3s, on board with Dave Crew, you can see Carzolia is 1/10 behind, so he's definitely feeling the pressure. Carzolia was up in third, fourth place earlier on, so he's definitely got pace. Comparing their previous laps, Dave Crew with the 58.4, Carzolia with the 56.7. So that is some differential in pace between those two. So hopefully we might see an interesting overtake from Carzolia, or hopefully for him he'll make it just super easy and clean and not lose any time, but you never know what can happen. It's looking like Carzolia is in the pit, so I wonder if he is pitting for his mandatory pit stop now to repair the damage that he got earlier, or whether he'll or whether he's managed to pick himself up a penalty. I didn't see anything pop up, so I'm assuming that he's just pitting, but we'll keep an eye on that. Back at the front, Olivier Curtin is trying to make it happen. He's nearly side by side down the straight. He's just going to tuck back inside. It looks like he's got a lot of overspeed. I don't know whether that's just the perspective. But as they both get past Helmet, and yeah, Elgaard's managed to stay in front for now, but I guess that 8/10 gap that got pulled out earlier, I guess that was from a mistake, because Curtin's managed to pull it all back now and is now right on the back of Elgaard again. So we might see another overtake for the lead later on in this race. Bolton Scouser in the chat again, bit of a Porsche Cup in the GT3s, eh? Yeah, we were talking about that in qualifying, how seems that Paul Ricard's attracted all the Porsches from the championship, and everyone else has decided that they're ill today because they didn't like the track or something. Now it gets interesting for them. The front two, Elgaard and Curtin, have just caught up with the main GT4 pack. So they've spent the last 18-ish minutes battling it out for P1, and now they've had extra fun thrown into the mix. And we usually see Elgaard being dominant in traffic. He usually seems to find ways through better than all the people around him. So I wonder if he's going to have the same luck / skill today. So far,
definitely.
Go on, Josh.
Well, it's just yeah, he's coming up to the straight now, so he'll be able to clear that traffic. But so will Curtin. It's not like he's been able to take advantage of the traffic to get a gap to the guy behind, like he normally does.
Yeah, it's still pretty tight between those two. So, back with Matt Higgs. He's comfortably 5 seconds behind Olivier Curtin, and then 2/10 gap back to Michael Abranoza. They're kind of having their own race, and then a couple seconds back we've got Dan Sedgley. I wonder what happened to Dan Sedgley. He was up there, wasn't he? He was in P3, wasn't he?
He was in P3, yeah. He must have been swarmed by the Porsches, or had a little whoopsie.
Yeah, just saw 2 Porsches behind him and just got a bit scared.
Yeah, I do agree with Bolton Ladscalcer, who says it is a bit of a Porsche Cup. The GT3s at the moment.
Yeah, and then many tracks attracting it needs a 50 kilogram manual bop.
I fully agree with that.
I thought that's what the in-game bop was meant to do, but I guess people kind of just must have just got used to it and exploited the pace of it again. Started to exploit the pace of it again.
It's great on technical tracks like this, but it just sucks on the straight. It's painful.
I feel I wonder why it doesn't balance out here then, because of the massive straight, the what is it, the Mistral straight.
Yeah.
Back to what I was saying earlier about Carolia. I've just noticed the pit window's opened. So that means that he couldn't have pitted earlier. So he's pitted, but it hasn't cleared his mandatory pit stop. So I wonder if he just decided his damage was too much and it wasn't worth it. But yeah, he's now got to pit again in the next 20 minutes. I honestly completely forgot that was how this race was set up. Forgot there was a pit window for them. So he's going to end up doing double the pit stops, and his teammate is P8, so it's not been a great day for the Simsop guys. After they've done, is it Ferrari taking each other out? Is that what they like to do to each other? Who's that just going off track?
It's a shame that the 2 guys need to talk to each other, even if it's like on a separate comms channel, not in a race. Because it's quite, I was going to say embarrassing, but it's more of just annoying when you have 2 teammates and they end up taking each other out when they really didn't need to. It's a shame, but it's racing at the end of the day, and you got to do what you got to do. Yeah,
I think I would. I'm usually in a voice chat with people on my team, but I still like to race hard with them. I don't like to give up positions to team orders or anything.
Well, you've seen the guys I'm teamed with, so you'll know they have no idea what team orders actually are.
or respect of each other's space on track.
What is respect?
Crawford.
Yeah.
So we're currently on board with Olivier Curtin in his cockpit. You can see just how much he's having to stick on the rear of Elgard. I wonder whether the aero wash, dirty air, is making any difference, making it more difficult, because it seems like he seems to have the pace over him. Like he manages, whenever he drops back, he manages to catch it back up, and then either drops it again or just doesn't manage, just can't seem to get an overtake done. Bolton Scouts are saying the drivers in the Porsche are probably running 0 wang. Yeah, that's a fair explanation on how they're holding up on the straight.
It's an effective strategy, I'll have you know.
You can see just how much through all these twisty corners he's getting right on the back of Elgard. Elgard having a little bit of a moment there.
Yeah, Curtin's absolutely nailing sector 3, but you just can't get sector 1 or 2 down.
Yeah, definitely. It must be a little bit frustrating for him at the moment, knowing that he's got the pace. If you have a look at the timetable, oh, I thought it was going to show us the sector time there. I was going to compare sector times, but didn't want to show it to me, as Curtin absolutely dives into the pits for an early pit stop-ish.
Yeah, I'd say it's early. He's one of the first to go through in a GT3. In fact, I think he is the first in his GT3 class.
Yeah, it looks like he is. So he's going for the massive undercut. See if he can just... I guess that's probably a good strat for him, because you could see he had the pace over Elgard, and he was just stuck behind. So pits now, gets out, sets consistent laps. Elgard's going to come in, and overall, Curtin's going to come out in front if he's managed to keep the consistency as it's been for the last few laps. So yeah, that's hopefully we'll see that strat working out for Curtin. I'm kind of rooting for him in this race. I don't know why. I'm just feeling like I want him to get that.
Like a Curtin supporter today.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want him to get that. He started on pole. He lost it in second lap or something, and I just want him to get it back now. Like, yeah. So yeah,
he's hoping, but unfortunately for Curtin, he just managed to get past all that GT4 traffic, and now he's going to have to do it all over again. So hopefully that pit stop drops him back far enough, but it's not going to impact him.
Yeah, let's have a look. I can't see any GT4s. If we flick on board with him, yeah, looks pretty clear in front of him. I think this might be a great chance for Curtin to get the undercut on Elgaard and take back the lead of the race. Yeah, because he's got completely clear track, so we'll watch their lap times over the next couple laps before Elgaard pits and hopefully make a prediction. But then again, you never know. We could see another Porsche on Porsche takeout like we saw earlier. So down in GT4s, we have still got Ignacy Bucek in first position. It looks like he's got quite a sizable lead over Verstappen. I'll just wait for it to pop up. Yeah, there you go, 4.5 seconds. No, more than that. 7.5 seconds over Verstappen. So Bucek, I think, was it the first race we ever streamed of this series, Josh, where we saw Bucek take the win? Was it Bucek?
Yeah, I think so.
It was, who was it? Bucek and what was his name? He's in this race. I've definitely seen him.
Trying to ask me to think back to 5 weeks ago, where I can barely think back to 5 days ago.
That is true. Who was it? Don't know. Can't remember. Anyway, we saw Bucek and another driver absolutely run away with it. I think Bucek won. Can't quite remember, but he definitely came first or second. And that was a complete runaway victory by the two of them. They just had the pace of everyone, and it looks like Bucek's doing it again today with the 7-second lead of a P2 of Christoph Verstappen. Then P3 we've got Claudio Allegria. And P4 we've got a goat friend. Not too far behind Allegria. But Allegria is 25 seconds behind Verstappen. So I wonder how that gap's opened up so much. Not sure. What were you laughing at there, Josh?
I'm reading the Discord chat.
Oh, right, okay.
It's quite comical.
Is it drivers that have not lasted the whole race by any chance?
Yeah, it is. It's
okay.
always entertaining watching it.
I think we'll try not to expose them. I'm not going to read it now. Just
no, it's.
I'll have a quick look at it after the race. So in P23, George Rowlands. Is it George? No, it's Gareth, isn't it? Gareth Rowlands has managed to get himself a drive-through. So they're starting to come in. Helmet might have a chance to get it back.
It's good for Helmet. At least he might not be stranded last.
Yeah. And let's have a look at the lap times. Olivier Curtin on the last lap doing a 55.9. Mark Elgaard. Do you want to take a guess what the lap is, Josh?
For Elgaard?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go for 45.9.
45? Do you mean 55?
Yeah, mate.
45.9. You reckon he found 10 seconds?
55. It's been a long day.
Actually, Elgaard on the last lap, 56.7. So that's nearly a second. That's nearly a second difference in those two's lap times. So, and what was it? 7/10 before they pit, gap between them. So at the moment, if it stays like that, or even if they just carry on doing the same lap times together, it looks like Curtin is going to get that undercut on Elgaard. And meanwhile, looking at Elgaard innocently going around the track, he's got absolutely no idea what's going on behind him, and he's got no idea that in some time in the next 10 minutes, he's probably going to get undercut, which is unfortunate, but that is how the strategy goes. So I think, who is it? Matt Higgs has pitted as well, and then Sam Snell Train has pitted. So seems quite, all the GT3s are leaving it quite late today. We usually see a lot of them dive in quite early and go for the undercut. But I guess halfway, this is probably the most logical time to pit to get the least wear on your tyres. So obviously they're replacing them halfway, so 30 and 30 minutes on each set of tyres. Buchek has pitted in GT4s and he's down into P4, but he had such a sizable lead, I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to come back out in the lead unless he makes a mistake, which is highly unlikely for him.
I need to hide this chat.
Oh, come on, Josh, concentrate. Oh, I really want to read it now, but I'll wait till the end.
Yeah. Did you leave a shout out for Bolton lads and Scouts?
I did not. I haven't read it.
He said, "Can you shout out to their wife, please? Tell Sarah that Chris loves her very much."
Oh.
Well, Sarah, Chris loves you very much. So yeah, shout out for Chris. There you go.
And I hope you're enjoying the race. It says she's listening. Does that mean she's actually watching, or just got it on in the background? Who knows? But if you're watching the race, I hope you're enjoying it. If you're not, I hope you are not bored of our voices.
Not yet, at least. Oh, that's a tight squeeze.
Yeah, that was an awkward time for those two GT4s to come out the pits right in front of Michael Abrunosa, who's currently running in P2. And down in P22, Zvonimir Burek, has just managed to get himself a 30-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that's really unfortunate. Here we go. Here is the final, what do you call it? English is not coming to me today. This is where we find out whether
the final position
comes out in front of Elgaard. Here's Curtin on the far chase cam.
Oh no, he's just missed it.
And you can see Elgaard there just going around the first corner.
And he's not actually lost any time to each other.
No, he's not managed to make that stick. I don't know how that managed to happen. I was watching their lap times, and to me it looked like Curtin was consistently faster. So I don't know whether I missed the lap I don't know whether I missed the lap where he'd made a mistake. But yeah, unfortunate for Curtin, unfortunate for me because I was rooting for him, but Elgaard is still out in the lead. Nothing against Elgaard, by the way. Great driver. And he's always good in the interviews, but I'm just feeling rooting for Curtin today. 1.4 second gap between them.
Do you think he can make it for? I think he's got the pace in him if he keeps it clean.
I think he
could just squeeze it.
I think he's got it. But I don't want to curse him. I don't want to put the commentator's
curse is not happening. I've crossed all the fingers, toes, tongue, all that.
I hope Elgaard doesn't get mad at us if he watches this back.
Oh yeah, sorry Elgaard. But the problem is we've seen him on the podium too many times.
I know.
We need to keep it interesting. We can't have a Lewis Hamilton over time.
Yeah. So, 6 minutes left in the pit window. We've still got the top 4 in GT3 haven't pitted yet, so we can't give you a full rundown of the standing order yet. But what we can tell you is that Elgard has in fact come out of the pits in front of Olivier Curtin, and they are still running P1 and 2 in this race. Then we've got Matt Higgs down in P3. Well, actually he might not be down in P3, but currently in P3 of those who have pitted. Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah,
I've just seen that.
P3 now.
Oh, Abranoza, what have you done? He's just
Definitely
managed to get himself a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Oh no! That's so unfortunate. He was doing so well as well. I think he was what, P4 or 5 before the pit stops.
Yeah, he was up there. He was doing well.
I think that's it. I think he's just thrown his race away. That's really unfortunate.
It's a brutal punishment, but I mean,
yeah.
safety, you know.
Literally,
even for virtual people walking
I know.
about.
You can be 1 kilometer per hour over the speed limit for a split second, and that's it. You lose a minute probably. Curtin's all over the back of Elgard now. We saw 2 laps ago they had a 1.4 second gap, and now he's all over the back of him again. So he's definitely got pace. And yeah, let's just see how it plays out. See whether he can actually get a clean move done, or maybe we'll see another incident of 2 people fighting too hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's just annoying because Curtin's definitely got the pace in Sector 3, but you just can't stick it in Sector 1 or 2. He just throws it all away. It's just annoying to see.
So, in the GT4s, everyone has now pitted apart from, is it Ian Simcox? I think it's Ian is his first name.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, it is Ian Simcox. He's the only one to have not pitted, but it looks like he's probably going to come out in last place. So we've got Ignacy Bucek up in first place with a 10-second lead over Christoph Verstappen. And then in P3, Philip Varley. P4, Adam Sharp. I think it was Adam Sharp, actually, that was in that first race with Bucek, where they both ran away. So I feel like Sharp's clearly not as good at this track as he was the first round. Where was it? Suzuka, maybe?
I remember him being up there at Suzuka, yeah.
It was Suzuka. Suzuka was one where one of them got taken out. I think that was Bucek that got taken out by GT3.
I think so.
I seem to remember the pink McLaren being...
yeah, it was gutting as well, because he was right up there as well. He was really fighting.
I've just seen if you look in the bottom right under Bucek's name, his team name is Punted by GT3 Racing.
I respect that.
Literally, as we were talking about it, I don't know why, I just saw it. Oh, that's hilarious. So yeah, Adam Sharp P4, then we've got Pinpoint P5 doing really well. And then Allegria P6, Goat Friend P7, Dan Anderson P8, Mad Al P9, Ian Simcox P10, yet to pit. So it will actually be RWB Rigel in P10. Up at the front of GT3s, Dan Sedgley and Dave Crew are yet to pit. They currently have 2 minutes left, so I think we'll probably see them pitting this lap. Dan Sedgley, is he going to dive? Is this even the end of the circuit? I can't quite tell. I think they're in the final sector. No, they're not. They're in the first sector, just going onto the straight. So they'll definitely be pitting at the end of this lap. Because otherwise they'll be getting, what is it, 130-second penalty at the end of the race?
Yeah. I mean, that was quite an interesting tactic that we saw at Spa when someone didn't pit at all. And I was kind of half hoping that they'd be able to finish, like, not last because of it. That pitting strategy does not work.
That was funny when we were on board with them and we were like, oh, we're going to see him dive into the pit lane now. And he just didn't. He just carried on and we were like, what? And then his messages in the chat afterwards, he was like, and now I know what that orange square with the 1 in it means.
Jeez Louise. If there's ever a time to find out what the new what comes up in the new update, it's
mid-race. mid-race when you realise that you missed the mandatory pit stop. So Dan Sedgley's the only person still to pit. I think this is the final corner now, so we'll see him dive in here. Yes, we will. It's not going to be a replay of Spa. So what we're going to see is Elgaard is going to take the lead of the race when he crosses past the pit lane. Olivier Curtin is a second behind him. So, I mean, they've just come through the traffic. The chances are of them staying so close together is pretty slim. But Elgaard is definitely one of the stronger people through the traffic, so I'm not surprised that he's pulled out a little gap there. Then down in P3 we've got Matt Higgs. He's been consistently doing well as well, so fair play to him for being as consistent as Elgaard. He's often on the podium, I think. I think we've interviewed him a couple times.
I think so, yeah. That is the pit window closed now, officially. No more pit stops.
And we just saw...
I see an orange box, though.
Oh, yes. I see an orange box.
Going for this fast strategy.
Ian the Simcox going for the strat of not pitting. So, I mean, he was going to come out in last anyway after a pit stop, so I don't think the penalty's going to make much of a difference. He's going to come last anyway.
I think this way he can just enjoy.
Yeah, at least he can have his race. So yeah, now they've got through the traffic. Curtin is 4/10 behind Elgaard. Sedgley it's just updating now, but he's a fair chunk of time. 12.6 seconds behind. In fact, no, Matt Higgs has just got past Sedgley, I think. Unless that didn't update. No, I think that was just bad updating of the game. Matt Higgs, P3. No, actually it wasn't even bad updating, it was just me. I just read it wrong. Matt Higgs 12 seconds behind Curtin. Dan Sedgley 8 seconds behind Matt Higgs. So that's a fair old gap from P2 to P3 and P3 to P4. And then even then, P5, Carzolio is 11 seconds behind again. So
he's doing well, though.
Yeah, he is. After that little incident that they had earlier, he's managed to pull it back. He's gone from, what, P9 to P5, I think?
P5, yeah.
So fair play. He's lapping fast. He's 56 fours. And speaking of lapping fast, Mark Elgaard's last lap was a 55.9. And his best lap in this race, in fact, that's probably it. That's probably why he didn't get undercut. His best lap in this race is a 55.4, which is faster than most people did in qualifying.
I can tell you why, man. I can tell you why. It's because he's got those sweet sim socks, which absolutely amazing. Like I've got something similar to the sim socks that they sell. I got from like a trampolining place, and they're absolutely brilliant because they've got like the little sticky bits on the bottom. It's absolutely brilliant. Love them to bits.
Would love to try some out. Maybe
you can check them out at SimSock.
SimSock.
If you Google SimSock, you'll find
Google
them.
SimSock. Everybody, Google SimSock.
There you go, simsock.com on the back of his car.
There you
go. Definitely try them out.
You've been saved by the livery there, Josh.
I have been saved by the livery. That is appearing finally.
Yeah, I definitely would be. I'm definitely I've had a look at them, and I'm contemplating buying them.
I'm a socks person. Like I can't drive in shoes.
I'm a socks.
I can drive in real life in shoes, but I can't
I'm a
drive
socks
on
person.
In shoes.
Yeah, I'm a socks person, but I just had some karting boots arrive today for like actual karting, and I've just thought I should probably try them on my rig and see what it's like.
To give them a go, don't you?
Because I've driven in shoes and I don't like it, but like the karting boots are literally just like a flat sole that's like half a centimeter thick, so it's basically not wearing shoes. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm at the moment I'm a socks person, but I just wear regular socks, and I definitely think something like a sim sock would increase my comfort and yeah.
Yeah, well, when I said I'm a sock person, I'm actually a barefoot person. Because I find socks just slip off the pedals. Which is why I use the the sim sock type ones, because they actually stick to the pedal.
Yeah.
They keep your feet warm.
See, I'm not sure about the barefoot. I find
my class. Got to feel all the feedback, all the travel.
I just don't like the metal pedals and the metal footplate of my pedals.
It gets cold.
Just gets a bit
I'm not
sweaty
gonna
as
lie to you.
well. I feel like I know it's a bit grim, but I feel like my feet get a bit stuck to it.
Just get a bit of WD-40, spritz on a little cloth.
Just lube it up a little bit.
Sorted.
Oh, Scouser. You're welcome for the shout out. He says he uses Aqua shoes. I'll have to look them up. Oh,
I'm pretty laughing at his.
what does he mean by Aqua shoes? Does he mean like
shoes that you wear for swimming? Like you can use them at like reservoirs and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like shoes, yeah.
I like that he
like
said
shoes
come
you're
in
at the
helmets.
beach or something. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
assuming that's meant to say come on helmets, but if it says come in helmets, are we past the watershed? Can I say come in helmet?
Alright, let's actually
assume that's sort of correct, but yeah, let's go back to the
let's
racing.
go back to the racing and let's just
Just look at that, Curtin's finally got past Elgard.
let's just admit that we've completely missed Curtin taking back the lead of the race because we were
I'm gonna be
talking.
honest, I didn't want to say anything in case a curse came in. And I'm still not going to say anything or comment on it because I want Curtin to keep that. As much as I like Elgard, we need someone new up on the top step.
So yeah, if you're not actually watching, if you're just listening, Curtin has retaken the lead of the race from Elgard. We missed the move because Josh was talking about come in helmet, and and he's now got a 1/10 lead over Elgard, and that's all we're going to say because we do not want to curse him any more than we already have.
Although that gap has gone up to 1.4 seconds now.
Yes,
so,
and I'm going to make a prediction that Elgard made a mistake because his last lap was a 57.4, so he lost 2 seconds in a lap. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that Elgard just fucked it a little bit.
You can see even with that mistake from Elgard, Curtin is still pushing and see the car diving left and right on entry and exit, trying to find every ounce of grip he can get to try and get away from Elgard. Yeah, do you know who I really want to see get up into P9 is Dave Crew, because after racing against him, he's earned my respect. He was able to stick behind me even with my questionable defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's managed to stick onto Snail Train, and Snail Train's not slow. Like, remember he got bumped up from. I don't know if that was someone else. That was Higgs who got bumped up.
Yeah,
Snail Train's not. He's not sluggish, even though he sounds like Snail Train.
Yeah, Snail Train. Come on, Dave.
He's not slow, but yeah, he's keeping
right
with
on the
him.
bumper of him as well. Looks like he's going to try for a move into turn one. No, he doesn't quite get the dive in, but you never know.
Snail Train parks on the apex.
He's in the number 1 car as well, so
he's got a BP1, doesn't he?
Yeah. What's 12 minutes left? P10 to P1. That's doable, right?
On Dave, get a shift.
So let's go back and have a look at the GT4s again. Buchek still just absolutely killing it in the lead.
Yeah, he's comfy.
Completely running away. I don't think we've got any doubts in our minds that he's going to win this. He's pulled the gap up to 11 seconds over Christoph Verstappen.
What's happening with Mardell?
Oh, I don't know.
Look at that.
Let's go and have a look.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but wow. Yes. Was that just in time?
I think so. I think he just got past Simcox, was it?
Is it not Anderson he's got past?
Maybe it's Anderson. No, Anderson.
Yeah, it's Anderson.
It is Anderson. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, get in, Al. I feel like his team name as well. It's RWB middle-aged driver.
Oh, I wish we'd read the team names more. Oh, wow.
Here I am who runs with privateer on every single team name I run.
So, it looks like Mad Al's probably reached the limit of positions that he can get in these last 11 minutes of the race. He's 7.5 seconds behind a goat friend. So I don't think we're going to see him gaining any more positions, but fair play.
Unless goat friend bends it. No.
Yeah, you never know. Simcox is just living it up in P23. Probably, I wonder whether he knows that he's going to get that penalty. But he's probably happy for now, for the next 10 minutes, and then it will hit him at the end of the race, and
like
it'll be plus 130
He doesn't
seconds.
care about what's going on. He's just happy to be there.
Yeah. And then Helmet is still sadly down in last. Is he even in the race anymore? I'm not 100% sure he is. No, it looks to me like Helmet has retired from the race. Yeah, he's only done 8 laps. So he retired a long time ago, I just didn't notice. Oh, we keep missing it, Josh. Oh, at least we came back at a good time. Elgaard has managed to retake the lead technically, but they are so side by side that it's hard to tell who's actually in the lead. And Elgaard's managed to just get back in front, and it was 500ths between them at the last split, and then at that split it was 5/10 after Elgaard managed to wangle his way in front just before the split line, the sector line.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, it looks like Dave Crew, who I was supporting, has dropped back a bit as well from Snail Train.
No.
Which is a shame. That gap's gone up to 1.142 seconds. Which is gutting. Yeah. I was really hoping he'd be up there.
So this is a pretty damn close battle with 9 minutes left, and they're still battling for the lead. You don't often see this. You quite often see what's happening in the GT4 at the moment, where 1 or 2 drivers just run away. But, well, it is 1 or 2 drivers run away, but usually they're not that close. Usually there's probably a second or 2 in between them. But they're running within tenths, even hundredths of each other. Still 52 minutes into the race. Yep. So that's pretty insane that their pace is that equally matched, and they've swapped positions 3 or 4 times now. So yeah, I mean, I'm still rooting for Curtin to get back into the lead in 8 minutes. You never know. Carzolia still is P5, doing well. Yeah,
he's not going to make up that time.
Definitely a really good recovery drive from him.
Yeah, it just annoys me. They shouldn't be doing a recovery drive. That's what annoys me. It was such a silly mistake from the pair of them, especially his teammates. Like, I know teammates have rivalries, and you don't want to just let your teammate walk off, but that just seems quite a silly place to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Should have done a Fernando is faster than you. Boom, sorted.
So yeah, I don't think he's going to be catching Dan Sedgley with a 16-second gap, but he's pretty safely in P5, and he's fast and he's consistent. So I think he'll finish in P5.
What's happening with Goatfred and Allegria? They seemed quite close.
Goatfred, let's go and have a look.
I'd say that he's just dropped down a bit by 0.8, but they were 0.2 seconds from each other.
Yeah, they don't look that close anymore.
Shame.
So one of them must have made a mistake. I think, well, it must have been Goatfriend. Pinpoint, doing well in P5? P5, yeah.
Yeah.
27 seconds away from P4, so he's not going to be gaining any more positions. And he's got a 5-second lead over Allegria, so that's fairly comfortable. Looking at the lap times, he's previously has been faster than Allegria, so Pinpoint should be on the home straight now. Front of GT4's Buchek still just run away. Verstappen's pretty much run away. Varley is also pretty... Well, actually, Varley and Sharp are only 3 seconds apart. So there's still a chance. There's a hope for Sharp to get on the podium. But I think Varley would probably have to make a mistake for that to happen. at the front again. Mark Elgaard, Olivier Curtin. 0.6 gap at the last split, but it is close. 5 minutes left. What's that? Three laps maybe? Maybe, yeah, probably about 3. So he's still got time to make a move. Both of them have made moves on each other this race, so they both can do it. He's got mad slipstream going down the Mistral straight. And we might see a little move. He looks to the inside. We might see a move into the curve of signs, but I don't think he's going to be quite side by side. No, it looks like he's just going to drop in behind again, which is unfortunate. It's definitely going to be getting, as each lap goes by, it's going to get more and more frustrating because it's so close to him. And he's had it in his grasp a couple times and then lost it a couple times as well. So it's going to be really frustrating for him at the moment. But the last thing he wants is to make a mistake now and completely throw it away. Completely throw away all the chance of it.
Yeah, it's better with a P2 than nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying give up, Curtin. Keep pushing. Keep going for that P1.
Definitely. But just don't fuck it up.
Don't bottle it.
So yeah, I think they're the closest battle that's going on in the whole race, and it's pretty exciting that it's on for P1 of the GT3s. That this is the closest battle that's going on. So
it's just so rare to see as well.
Yeah. I wonder if there'll be one more position change. Come on, Curtin. Let's jump on board and see what it looks like for him from his perspective. In fact, we're on board with Elgaard. Let's look back at Curtin from Elgaard's bumper, from Elgaard's spoiler, I guess. And we'll just see how this is. They're on the Mistral straight, so Curtin's gonna have the slipstream, but it looks like he's a bit too far away to get a move into the curve of signs again, just like he was last lap. Just slightly too far to send it at the inside or around the outside. So yeah, again, frustrating. But Elgaard seems to just have picked up the pace and seems to just manage to hold that kind of half a second gap, which is kind of just too far to really do anything. It's too far to put them under major pressure, and it's too far to go for an overtake. But it's close enough to feel. It's close enough to know
it's
how close. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's just teasing him. So in the cockpit of Curtin, you can see how close it looks for him. That half a second gap looks like absolutely nothing. 4/10 now. So what's that? It's going to be 2 more laps. So he's got 2 more chances at getting an overtake done. Probably.
Oh, he just needs to drive here.
It looks like Elgaard's made a mistake there, and actually, this might be his opportunity. Curtin manages to get a better run, and Curtin's going to have the inside for whatever this corner name's called, something French.
Hotel.
But sadly, Elgaard manages to hold it round the outside and then gets the inside for the next corner and manages to pull in front, and now they're going to be back onto the Mistral straight. But I think Curtin's probably used his chance for this lap now because he's not going to be close enough.
No, you just need to sit behind him all the way past curve of signs.
Yeah,
and then take advantage of sector 3.
But the thing is, it's 1 more lap, so it's going to be sit behind him all the way down the straight into the final sector of the final lap and then get the move done. So this might be an exciting end to this race. I hope it is. Down in P12, Carolia had a shocker of a start to the race, and now he's managed to pick himself up a drive-through. So that's even worse for him. Super unfortunate. He's currently in last, and he's going to come back out in last. Fair play for finishing the race well. not yet, but he's still going, so one would
Yep.
assume that he's actually going to finish. But Curtin has not managed to hold close to that Sector 3 this time, so I don't know whether Elgaard's just managed to find his rhythm through Sector 3 as the race goes on, because at the start he definitely didn't have the pace in Sector 3, but now he actually looks quite strong in Sector 3, which is kind of not what Curtin was hoping for. Again, not close enough to go for a move into T1. Oh! Oh! I saw that and I was like, please no. Please. Don't do it. Don't just like sideswipe GT3.
I'm a virgin.
Alright. Final lap of the race. Let's watch Elgaard for his victory lap of this hour-long race at Paul Ricard. The track's now at 42 degrees, so it's insanely hot. But I'm not gonna lie, I think Elgaard might have it in the bag here. Halfway around the final lap, and there's a 1 second gap between them. As much as I want Elgaard to send Curtin to send it, I think he's a bit too far back.
It's strange about this track here. This tier is currently at 33 degrees, all sunny, because I've seen someone state that another tier is currently in the rain.
Oh,
at the moment, so it's kind of wishing there to be rain today, because everyone loves rain at Paul Ricard. But yeah, it's still fantastic racing, even with the hot conditions.
Yeah, what an insanely close battle for the lead of GT3s. So unfortunate that Curtin couldn't quite get it. Just lost it in the last couple laps. And here you go, Elgaard coming around the final corner, the Virage du Pont, onto the main straight to cross the line and take the win of round 5 of the Super GT Saturday series. So well done to Elgaard. Well done to Curtin for keeping up for that whole race and making it so interesting for us. And just unlucky that he didn't quite get that move done. There you go. Ian Simcox crosses the line and gets that 130-second penalty. Let's go on to Ignacy Bucek and watch him on his final lap to take the win of the GT4 race. He's got a 28-second lead. What the hell? That is insane. He goes around the final corner, and massive props to Bucek for that. Just like perfect, flawless drive.
Are you sure he's in a GT4?
What, Bucek?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
That gap is just monstrous.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. I thought I was making a mistake here. And then... Yeah, so Bucek taking pole, taking P1, Verstappen crossing the line for P2, 28 seconds behind, but still fair play P2. Really well driven. Phil Varley coming across the line for P3, only a couple seconds behind, 7.5 seconds behind. Adam Sharp only 2 seconds behind, then Pinpoint taking P5. So, as the race is now finished, let's give a final rundown of where everyone came. So we had Mark Elgaard taking the win in the GT3s. Then we had Olivier Curtin in P2. Then Dan Sedgley in P3. Matt Higgs P4. Carzolia P5 with that massive recovery drive. James Lacey P6. Leo Wooks P7. Sam Snelltrain P8. Daniel Barnett P9. Dave Crew P10. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get the P9. Somehow Snelltrain managed to gain a position on that last lap, I think it was. Then we had Michael Abrunosa forgotten where I was, P11. Mohamed Karolia P12, bringing up the rear of the GT3s. Then we had in GT4, we had Ignacy Bucek P1, Christoph Verstappen P2. What is happening with that camera? I've just noticed that. Let's get rid of that. I think the game's decided it's had enough. So we had Christoph. No, we had. Yeah, Christoph Verstappen P2, Phil Varley P3, Adam Sharp P4, Pinpoint P5, Goatfriend P6, Madal P7, Claudio Allegria P8, Dan Anderson P9, Rigel P10, Greedy P11, Ian Simcox in last with P11, I think it was. Again, I forgot where it was, but he got that massive 130-second penalty for not taking his pit stop. So yeah, that was a pretty exciting race at the front. GT4s was fairly spread out. GT3s was fairly spread out, apart from that front battle, which was just so exciting and engaging the whole race. Like, they were just all over each other the whole time.
So you feeling the interviews? Are you ready?
I am ready to talk to them.
Well, we've got Elgard, who is a P1 guy in GT3 and overall. Just drag him in here.
We're trying not to hate on him too much.
Hello, Elgard. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Well, that was a fantastic drive from you. However, you did have... I've forgotten his name.
Olivier Curtin.
Yeah, you did. Curtin right behind you. Were you feeling the pressure at all?
No.
No?
No. That's surprising.
Not because I was actually waiting for him in the straights once in a while.
Ah, okay.
A little fun and racing, but I was faster in the straights. My car was set up really well for the top speed, and he couldn't do anything on the straights, sadly. So I gave him a shot once in a while, but in the end I just took the win nice and slow. No big things.
Well, you certainly managed to make it exciting for us to watch with you and Curtin.
So. The whole point.
We're not going to lie to you, we were rooting for Curtin a little bit. We wanted to see the underdog. We wanted to see someone dethrone Elgard.
Well, I kind of lost it at Spa when I crashed into a wall, so yeah.
Oh, we didn't see that. I think we were streaming another tier.
You were... no, you were.
Oh, were we?
On my tier, but I just hit a wall on our roof.
Oh, no.
So I got like 23rd or something.
Oh, well, you've redeemed yourself today.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that. It's good to be back.
Well, nice.
We're glad to have you, like. Perfect. Thanks for joining us, Elgard, and congratulations on your win.
No worries. Looking forward to the next one.
And awesome. We are too.
See you.
So, have we got...
So that's
Curtin?
Elgard. We don't seem to have Curtin or the guy in P3. I should have taken a screenshot.
It was...
My memory's all over the place.
Matt Hay. No, it was Dan Anderson, I think. No, what am I on about? Who was it? Dan Sedgley.
Dan Sedgley, yeah.
In P3.
Was it?
I can't remember.
Anyway, we don't have the other two, but we do have Buchek, who is P1 in the GT4s. I'll just drag him in. Hi, Buchek, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hi, that was a dominant drive from you. You had a 20 plus second lead at the end.
Great.
How'd you do it?
Well, it's a track I really like and I'm good at. I've spent quite some time preparing for endurance race, so I think that this knowledge helped me today. And I think I finally nailed my setup, so everything came together.
Yes, perfectly. You seemed absolutely dominant today. Did you actually see any other GT4s on track after lap 5?
Could you repeat? There was a lag.
Did you see anyone else, like any other GT4s after lap 5? Don't worry about it, Alex.
I can't hear you. I don't know if it's me.
Don't worry about it. Alex, do you have any questions for Buchek?
No, not really. Other than just like the dominance is just pretty mad. Like we were talking at the start of the race how we thought Paul Ricard was a bit of a Marmite track, and then we were like, actually, we've never spoken to anyone that actually likes it, but we found someone now. I don't know if Buchek can still hear us, or whether we're having some Discord issues. But have we got anyone else waiting? I don't think we do.
Unfortunately not.
I don't
Everyone
know.
else seems to have gone flying off to bed.
I wonder if any of them are still just not realised that they meant to come for interviews. Do you want
Don't
to?
worry, I told them, but
Oh, you did. Okay.
I did, yeah.
So I guess that's it for the interviews today. Since clearly none of the top threes are feeling like it, and Buchek had his little Discord issues there where he couldn't hear us, so that's annoying. But oh well. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Josh, anything you want to add?
No, fantastic racing today, especially between P1, P2. Kind of gutted that Elgard was waiting up for him, but it still made it entertaining for us.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Chris or Bolton Lad and Scouser for keeping us entertained with your chat.
Yeah, definitely. I was about to say that as well. Thanks for keeping engaged with us in the chat, and thanks for the compliments.
Definitely.
And in answer to your question, I am very much looking forward to Harry's flapjack, which he has kindly cooked while I've been commentating. And they're telling me to come and watch Ratatouille because it's our last night of isolation after one of my housemates got COVID. So we're having a little party in the house, and he's cooked flapjacks. And no, we don't have any puppies because our landlord does not allow pets in our house. But we would if we could. So I think that's it, and we'll wrap up the stream there. Thanks for watching, everyone who is watching. And thanks to the sponsors, Racing Sim Tools and SimSock, for making RWB possible. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, Josh, for coming back again after you ditched me last week. I've enjoyed being back with you.
Shoot you cool.
Yeah, and I think that's it for tonight. So hopefully we'll see you all next week. Not gonna lie, I don't know what track it is next week, but we'll see you there, and it'll probably be exciting. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Don't race alone, race RWB.
There you go. Wise words from Josh.